Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy we could be here together today for our slow flow practice today. Today, we're going to be centered and focused a bit more on the ground today, a little bit more mat-based practice today. So low to the ground, more of a grounding practice where we're going to be focusing a little bit on the low back today, a little bit of a low back release practice today. Now, today I've begun with a bolster and I have it propped up on a yoga block underneath here. I know a lot of us don't have these at home, so if you don't worry about it. You could use a cushion from your couch, you can use a pillow, you can use nothing and just lie down on the floor. If you do have a bolster and you'd like to lay down on it, great, you could prop it up so it feels comfortable. You can even double prop it with another yoga block if you feel like that's too low, especially if it doesn't feel comfortable for your back. This will raise it up a little bit higher. If you prefer not to use that at all and you want to set the yoga block, the yoga bolster underneath your knees, especially if you're dealing with some low back things today, set the bolster underneath the knees and let yourself relax. So let's begin lying down on the floor. Maybe if you want to, make sure you're cozy and comfortable with your clothes today. I know we're out in Michigan today and it's cold outside, so I am wearing my cozy clothes. Oh, so we make our way onto the bolster if you do have it propped up or whether you're down on the ground. Just let your spine kind of find its space. I like to keep my knees bent here just to kind of release any tension in the back. I'm going to actually bring my knees into constructive rest pose. So drawing the knees towards center, the feet wide. And we're just going to begin maybe opening up the arms, maybe kind of into a little bit, not so much a T shape, but more of a Y shape, an upside down Y. So the shoulders, the hands below the shoulders, and just begin to open up the chest. Let's just begin by taking a few deep breaths to the belly. In through the nose and out through the nose. Allow your body to feel heavy here. Just connecting to the breath, to the rhythm. Maybe even connecting to the sound as the breath comes in and leaves your body. Notice if there's any places in the body that you're holding on to something. Like you're holding on to a gift that you want to give away, but you're quite not sure yet when you're ready to. See if you're holding on to any of those spots and see if you can just let that slip out of your hands and release any tension. Maybe noticing the front of the body and noticing the back of the body. As you notice your breath entering your body and taking its way on into its journey, notice the smoothness of the breath entering the body and the smoothness of the breath leaving the body. And as the breath enters the nostril, see if you can draw that breath as deep down to the low belly as possible. And then from the low belly, release the breath and let it journey back all the way up in that same direction out of the body. Now I'd like you to focus on the exhale here. Let the exhale be a representation of a release. of that opportunity to let go. Notice if as you exhale, your body just can let that tension or anything that's not serving you kind of release from the body. Now, I'd like you to send your energy to any places in the body that need attention. If you're dealing with a low back problem, I'd like you to focus all your energy on that space with the intent of that healing, compassionate, loving energy being drawn to that space of the body. Filling it with all the care and all the love that it needs to heal itself. Maybe there's another part of the body, maybe it's your knee or maybe it's your shoulder. Maybe you've got a headache this morning. See if you can take all that love, that compassion, that energy, that breath to that space. Now let us set our intentions for our practice today. Maybe your intention is more of a mantra, maybe it's a prayer, maybe it's an I am statement. Now from here, let's slowly, if your arms are outstretched, slowly glide them back towards center. And we're going to reach the arms on the inhale up and then exhale overhead. Inhale back up. Exhale, float them down to the floor. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release overhead. Extend the body long. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, release down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, reach. Exhale, extend. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower. Next time, we're going to inhale, reach the arms up. As we exhale, sweep the arms out to the side as we circulate, move through the shoulder, circumduct the shoulder in a circular motion, and inhale, reach. Exhale, open the palm, extend out the arm strong into a big circle. Breathing in and then breathing out, moving through the shoulder joint. Notice any tension points, notice any crunchy bits. Just allow the space to be very fluid, working within whatever range is calling to you. It could be a big round circle, it could be a small round circle. Remembering that no matter what size your circle is, it is not reflective of anything more than just a circle. That's all it is. Beautiful. Now, maybe if you'd like, you can begin to reverse your circle. Take it down and then around and just moving through the shoulder girdle. And as you move in this different direction, taking a different journey, notice how it feels. Notice how your breath reacts. Notice how the rest of your body reacts to this movement. Notice any tensioning through the jaw. See if you can let your eyes even soften and your jaw soften. Last one, we're going to go ahead and circulate the arms all the way around. Bring the arms up And let's bring them so that they're raised towards the sky, palms facing one another, shoulder height, reaching towards the sky, and then open up into a T, extending the arms out. If you're resting on a bolster, this is going to really open up the chest. If you're lying down on the floor, you're still going to get that added benefit of opening up the chest. So just reach through the fingertips. Might feel a little different if you're lifted, a little more spacious, and maybe it feels a little too intense. Maybe you need to bend the elbows. As you're here, breathe into the chest space and try to soften any tension you might be feeling. Try to find that sense of letting go. And then as you're ready, begin to slide the hands down to the side of your body. And we're going to gently and safely make our way off the bolster if you do or are less resting on that. We're going to just take ourselves up and we're going to take the bolster and set it off to the side for a moment. Take the yoga block and set that off to the side as well. We're going to use it shortly. And I'd like you to grab your strap. So from here, we're going to reset ourselves down to the floor. Just take a moment to kind of reset where your sacrum is. Take the strap and just set it to your side for a moment. And we're going to begin with some gentle pelvic tilts here. So here, we're just looking to create a little bit of movement through the pelvis without using the glutes to facilitate this movement. So beginning with that neutral space, I'd like you to tilt your pelvis so that your hip bones are reaching up towards the sky. And there might be this really kind of odd, uncomfortable extension in the spine here. Then tilt the pelvis so that you're lowering the low back to the floor. Press the tailbone out, expand those tail feathers. Inhale, tilt the pelvis, arch the low back. Exhale, pull the pelvis in, lower the low back, pull the tailbone away from the upper body. Inhale, tilt and arch. Exhale, lower and flatten. And this is really with the intention of just being really nice and gentle with this movement. You know, as we know that the low back can be really finicky sometimes, especially if we're tight through the hips. So we're just going to come to this with a lot of gentle movement, kind of coordinating that nice inhale as you arch the back, opening up the front of the body. Exhale, closing up that gap between the low back and the floor. Just begin to continue to flow here. I also want you to notice, how does it affect the other parts of the body? And this is just a keen reminder at how much everything in our body is so interconnected. You might have pain in the knee, but it might not have anything to do with the knee. It might have something to do with the hips or the back or the shoulders. So just find that space to bring that awareness into the body. Now, the next time you find yourself lifted with that nice arch of the low back, hip bones up to the sky, take that right hip and press it down to the floor, the little gentle lift of the left side, and then take the belly button, pull it in, spread that low back into the floor, and then go over to the left hip. And then back into that arch. And just create these little circles here, moving through the pelvis really gently, touching that north, east, southwest kind of directional point of focus on the body here. So the hips, the belly buttons, the hips, and the low pubic area. And again, as you're moving here, the circles don't have to be large. They can be really small. And maybe smaller feels better than large. Maybe larger feels better than small. Maybe you're somewhere in the middle, maybe just kind of finding a different range that works for you. Beautiful. And then the next time you find yourself tilting with the pubic bone down towards the ground, let's go ahead and reverse the direction. Moving in that opposite direction. Maybe you hear some clicking and clacking of the spine or any sort of movement of the vertebrae. Just kind of acknowledge any sounds. I say that because I hear it in my body right now. A little bit of clicking. Doesn't hurt, just a little bit of movement there. Let's kind of tune into what's happening. Beautiful. Let's do a couple more in this direction. Beautiful. And then the next time you make your way back in towards center with that low back pressing down to the floor. Let's come back again one more time into some gentle pelvic tilts, front and back. It's kind of resetting there. Maybe notice if it feels any better. Maybe a little bit more fluid, a little bit more loose. Beautiful. And then the next time you find yourself back with the low back pressing down towards the floor, we're going to go ahead and bring the heels in towards center. Keep that low back pressing and then start to engage through the glutes and engaging through the heels and start to raise your body into a bridge pose. Hold here for a breath, opening up the front of the body, and then exhale, slowly bring the sacrum back down to the floor. Come back into your neutral spine, allow for that natural curve in the low back to present itself. Inhale, tilt the pelvis, press into the heels, engage through the glutes, opening up the front of the body. Settle back down, release the low back. On your exhale, use your glutes, use your core. Just notice how that feels. Tilt and lift. Again, the intention is to bring some awareness to the back of the body, to open up the front of the body, to release any tension in the hips here. We know that if our hips are tight, our low back is going to be pulled, our pelvis is going to be moved out of alignment, and it's going to cause low back pain. So the intention here is to really just open that front body, strengthening the back of the body and using that core as that in between to stabilize everything. Wonderful. Let's do one more. And then we'll make our way at your own pace back down to the ground. Beautiful. From here, open up the feet nice and wide. And we're just going to gently windshield wiper our knees in and out. And I really want you to look at this as this fluid kind of flowy space here, kind of allowing the knees to open out. Try not to force anything that goes beyond a range that you're ready to move into just yet. So just allow there to be this kind of release, this coordination of breathing and moving. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, we'll come back in towards center. Slowly realign your sacrum back down. Toe heel the feet so that they're hip distance apart again. This time we're going to grab the band and we're going to set it underneath our right foot. And we're going to keep the left knee bent. And what I'd like us to do here is to bend and stretch the right leg. And again, we're coming to this with this intention of lengthening. I know we often use the word stretching in yoga, which ultimately um, is what we're doing. But I like to look at the muscle as an opportunity to lengthen versus stretch. Sometimes when I bring that connotation or that word into my mind, it I don't know, it resembles a bit of a forceful thing. But if I look at it from the perspective of lengthening, I'd like to just lengthen my muscles. There's this, I don't know, there's this softness to it. So as you bend and stretch here, just think of that lengthening quality of reaching through the heel, flexing through the foot, lengthening, extending that leg. Beautiful. And one more time. Beautiful. The next time you find yourself with your leg extended, heel reaching to the sky, turn the foot so that the arch of the foot is reaching towards the left side of the room. Go ahead and create a C with your foot. So, like you're sickling the foot and creating that C rounding, giving that anterior tibialis a nice little stretch, the outside of the shin muscle. Drawing that sole of the foot towards the left. Relax your upper body. If you're straining through the upper body, lengthen your strap. Beautiful. Bring your foot back through center. And let's do the opposite direction. Bring the foot out so that it's reaching towards the right side of the room. Create that little C curve with that foot, giving the inside of the shin a nice little stretch. So peroneals. Beautiful. Can even feel, I don't know, I could feel the sole of my foot stretching too. Fantastic. Then come back through center. And I'd like you now to take your strap into your right hand. We're going to create some gentle rotations, a circular motion of the foot, really small. And I'm using the strap as just a guide, working the muscles as well of the leg as I rotate here in a really tiny circular motion. Just kind of working through the hip joint. And I'm really keeping it small and contained here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I really want to keep my left hip down to the ground. I don't want any shifting. I don't want any movement here. I just want that right leg to just move through the hip joint here. Beautiful. And then whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and reverse directions, kind of moving in the other way. Notice how that changes your center of gravity a little bit. I really had to focus on keeping that left hip down so I'm not shifting or rocking from side to side. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, we'll come back in towards center. Go ahead and extend that leg and really just allow your hip bone to anchor in. So if you find yourself hiking through that right hip, what I'd like you to do is really focus on keeping that right hip down, plugging that femur joint right into the hip. Lengthen out the leg without locking into the joint and really give the back of the legs that nice bit of length with the intention of releasing the low back. Fantastic. And then go ahead and release the right foot down towards the left ankle and just allow the right hip to open here today. Now, normally we might pull the thigh in towards center, and that will be an option. But if today you want to just kind of explore opening up the hip without any sort of too intense lengthening. This is just a great opportunity to just allow the right hip to open, soften through the space of the hip without straining. If you'd like to, you're absolutely welcome to take that left thigh in. Go ahead and set that left foot down. Unwind your right from your left. And let's reset again, just with some gentle flowing movement of the knees. Rolling from side to side. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, we'll come back in towards center. Toe heel the feet back so that they're hip distance apart. And let's go ahead and take that strap and we're going to bring it underneath the left foot this time. Keeping the right knee bent and extending the leg out. Just begin by maybe flexing through the foot just gently. This is going to just turn the back of the leg on. Make sure your left hip isn't raised. See if you can anchor down through the left hip. Really keep the sacrum glued to the floor. Maybe if it feels comfortable, you take that foot and you draw it towards the right side of the room and just angle it so that you've got the arch of the foot turned towards the right. The foot has that beautiful C shape, lengthening that anterior tibialis. Beautiful. And then come back through center, arch the other way, create that opening of the peroneals, that muscle that runs right from around the ankle right to the knee, stretching out the muscles here. Also creating that C curve, stretching out the sole of the foot. You might even feel that lengthening there. Beautiful. And then come right back in towards center. Beautiful. And let's take the strap into our left hand. We're going to create some small circles. Again, same idea. Doesn't have to be a large circle. Keep that right hip really glued down to the ground. And you've got to use the core here. So you've got to bring some awareness to the core, working and strengthening and really stabilizing the body here. So once I bring some awareness to the core, moving this leg really does require that combination of effort between the core, the leg muscles, kind of working in conjunction with each other to just flow here. Beautiful. And then maybe if you'd like to, you'll reverse the direction, create a circle in the opposite way. And just creating that beautiful circle and really just keeping all the movement in the leg here. Maybe one side feels very different to the other. Maybe it doesn't. Beautiful. And then whenever you're ready, you'll come back in towards center. Lengthen out the legs. Flex into the heels, toes towards center. And just plug that femur joint right into its socket. Keep the hip down. Lengthen the back of the legs. Relax into it. And then from here, maybe you release that left ankle to the right knee, crossing it over, opening up the hip. And perhaps just for today, we stay here. Just allow the breath to come to the left hip. Relax the shoulders. If you'd like, you can always pull that right thigh in towards center. It's really optional. Kind of explore if it works for you. Soften through the shoulders. Wonderful. Reset the right foot down to the floor. Uncross the left from the right. And just move with some nice flow here from side to side. Resetting back. Beautiful. And then when we're ready, we're going to go ahead and we're going to come back in through center and we're going to come into a supported bridge pose. And this is really to help open the hips. So if you'd like, you can use your bolster. The bolster might actually feel a bit more comfortable. I'm actually going to use my bolster because I quite like the bolster for this. So go ahead and lift your sacrum enough so that you can set the bolster directly underneath the whole low back area. I could pretty much, if you've got a wide one like mine, it could fit the whole low back area here. And from here, we'll draw our right knee in towards our chest. And we're going to take that left leg up to the sky and then gently allow that left leg to drift down to the floor. Now, maybe you need to bend the left knee just so that you have a little bit of room there. If you feel like you're straining in any way, please bend the knee. Wonderful. Beautiful. I like to let my leg hang, like it's just like hanging like clothes on a laundry line outside, just letting it kind of flow. So release any tension through the ankle, the toes. And then when you're ready, go ahead and slide that left foot in towards center, bring it in, extend the right leg up to the sky with a nice long extension of the right leg. Let the right leg drift to the floor, open up the hip. Let everything just open up. Beautiful. And let's go ahead and bring both knees in towards the chest. And then from here, extend the legs. This is one of my favorite poses. I love candlestick. Now, if you're ever doing this and you're at home and you have a clear space on a wall, I really encourage you to bring the legs up to the wall. Your sits bones are going to kind of connect down to the wall, and you can go into the wall and you're going to go into legs up the wall. This is quite an amazing pose, especially after a long, busy, stressful day, or after a long trip, or just after a lot of socializing during Thanksgiving, just to kind of come down. It's a way to really calm the nervous system down. So this pose, even just doing legs like this with candlestick like this is just very restorative, very calming. But for some can feel like strained, especially if you've got some tight hamstrings. So legs up the wall offers the support. So you've got your ankles up against the wall. Terrific. And then from here, go ahead and set your feet down, bend the knees, press one foot down and then the other. And we're going to go ahead and lift our sacrum enough so that we can move the bolster back over to the ground. And we're going to grab our strap again one more time. So taking the right foot and setting the strap underneath it. This time, if we can, we're going to extend the left leg long and we're going to go into our twist. So taking the right hand into a half T shape. Now, what I want you to do is before we start to rotate, really come back to that idea of plugging in the femur into its hip joint. Use your core. Go ahead and twist towards the left. And you may even need to kind of re-look at where you're bringing that leg. So if your leg is down here versus plugged into the femur and twisted over, it's going to feel very different. And here, what we're looking to do is just lengthen out that IT band. If the IT band is tight and it's pulling at the glutes and pulling at different areas here, it's going to make that whole area in the low back feel really uncomfortable. So we want to make sure our alignment is really kind of in where it needs to be. And so often what I see or what I have seen is when people come to this place, their intention is to try to come down to the floor. But what they're really losing out on is that opportunity to stretch the glutes and stretch the IT band. And that might mean you can't come down quite as far. And that's really okay. So as we come to this twist, maybe notice, are you engaging through your core? Can you keep that right hip kind of aligned with the rest of the pelvis? So we're not letting that right hip kind of spray out to the right side. Notice if you're holding on to any tension, if your knee is kind of jutted up towards the quadricep, can you soften the knee? Now, using all the muscles on the side of the right leg, start to pull your leg back in towards center. And you may need to reset, kind of bring that sacrum back in towards the center of your mat, keeping that right leg lifted. Same idea, really keep that femur plugged in as we drift our right leg out towards the right side. Now here you want to really imagine you've glued your left hip to the floor. And we're just stretching out that inner thigh muscle here. I said stretching, lengthening out. And then go ahead and use those inner thigh muscles, come back through center, slowly. And go ahead and release your right foot from the strap, and we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So take that foot, press it into the strap. Lengthen out that right leg. Really find that length through the hip here. Plug that left femur into its joint. And then from there, create that twist. Bring your pelvis with you. Again, the range is going to vary. Maybe you've got more, maybe you've got less. Soften into it. Beautiful. Use those muscles to lift the leg back up. And then go ahead. Keep that left femur plugged in. Open up to the left. Keep that right hip get anchored down to the floor. Good. And slowly use those muscles from the inner thigh. Pull yourself up and release your strap. Nice job. Good. And let's take that strap and set off the side. We're going to come into all fours and do a bit of cat-cow. We've been on the floor for quite some time. So let's just slowly make our way up into that tabletop position. If you've got some knee things going on, make sure you take a blanket or something and just set it underneath the knees. So from here, let's go ahead and bring our hands underneath our shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And before we begin some cat-cows, I just want you to kind of sway your hips side to side. And just kind of move into it very slowly, kind of loosening up that area. Like you're swaying to a really lovely song that you love. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, we'll come back in towards center and let's just do some circular motions with the hips here. So draw the right hip down towards the right heel, over to the left, and pull yourself back up. And be mindful of what you're using in the body here. Can you use your core? Just keep that motion nice and fluid here. I like to even explore almost like a figure eight movement. So drawing out and in, like I'm drawing an 8 in the sky here. Beautiful. Fantastic. And then maybe the next time you find yourself in tabletop, let's drip the left hip towards the left heel and just move in that opposite direction. Just again with that awareness of what does it feel like from one side to the other. Maybe it feels the same, maybe it feels different. Look at the shoulders, just kind of flow here. Beautiful. Let's do a couple more. And when you're ready, we'll make our way back in towards our tabletop position. And then just find yourself here stacking the body, inhaling to arch the low back, to open up the chest. Exhale to round the body, let the head fall down towards the floor, lengthen the back of the neck. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round it in. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe a couple more. Wonderful. Whenever you're ready, Make your way back into your tabletop. Back is long. And we're going to extend the left arm out, extend the right leg out, finding our spinal balance. And as you're here, I want you to think about just oppositional length. So toes reaching long, left arm reaching long to the top, and the foot reaching to the bottom. Energize through the core here, soften through the back, and then release the hand and the knee back to their original spots. Inhale, extend the right and the left, reaching tall, gaze down to the floor, engage in through the glutes, lengthen the spine. And set your right hand and left knee down. And let's do that one more time on either side, reaching long. Breathe in. And release down. Right arm, left leg, breathe in. And exhale, release down. Knees wide, big toes together. Let's meet in child's pose. Press down onto the heels. Maybe extend through the arms, resting the forehead down to the floor. Softening the shoulders, softening the spine. Breathing in and just let your body flow down, softening everything, melting into it. Beautiful. Maybe we'll go ahead and do a little lateral bend here. So walk your hands over to that left side of the mat, taking the right arm maybe out an inch or so further of the left. Press down through the right hip, open up that side body. Really ease yourself into this space. So again, think about lengthening, not straining. Beautiful. Walk your hands through center. Same thing on the other side. Again, just find that space. You're absolutely welcome to bend your elbows. I really find that sometimes we're trying in the intention of really getting that length. It feels more straining than relaxing. So there's just kind of this beautiful place between effort and ease. Just ease yourself into it. Just notice if your hips can soften. Just kind of melt into the spot without any sort of strain through the neck or through the jaw or through the eyes. Beautiful. And then take yourself back in towards center. And we're going to make our way into crocodile. So down onto the floor, and we're going to stack the hands. Elbows wide, forehead resting down on top of the hands. And from here, all I want you to do is relax the shoulders, rest your body heavy on the front part, on the mat, and just let your pelvis sway gently side to side. Loosening the back, just even allow your ankles to flow from side to side. Beautiful. And then whenever you're ready, come back through center. We're going to slide our hands to the side here. And I'd like you to press the hands into the floor. Keep your core engaged and really use the muscles of the arm to press yourself back up. And we're going to swim those legs all the way forward. Find ourselves in our seated position with the legs extended. So from here, as we make our way into our staff pose with the legs extended and the feet flexed, extend the arms up on your exhale, your inhale, and then exhale forward. Let this be really passive in nature. So we're not trying to strain forward. Just allow your back to round. Keep your tailbone kind of glued down, and it doesn't have to be a massive forward fold here. Soften the shoulders, the jaw. Beautiful. Restack the spine. So use that breath. And then soles of the feet come together. Finding Baddha Konasana, so finding our butterfly pose. Now, maybe here, we're going to stay here in this position. Maybe we'll bend the elbows and lean forward. Finding that release into the hips. Releasing the low back. Beautiful. Again, use your core, restack your spine, lengthen out. And we're going to make our way down to the floor in preparation for Shavasana. So maybe today you want to come back and bring the bolster, and we'll finish off with the bolster maybe underneath the knees. So if you don't have a bolster, you can absolutely take pillows, blankets, whatever it is you have at home. So it really doesn't have to be one of these. And then just make your way down. So with the intention of just allowing the low back to release here, anytime your knees are kind of lifted, it just gives that pressure off the back. So maybe in bed, your low back is feeling a little uncomfortable. Prop it up with some pillows. It'll feel much better on the back. And as we're here, maybe your hands are going to open out wide. Actually, just find whatever placement, maybe one hand on your heart, one hand on your tummy. And just take a moment to ease in here. Soften your body, release your heart. And think of that feeling you have at the end of a day where you've been busy all day and you kind of sit down for the first time and your shoulders start to drift away from the ears. Your heart softens. There's this sense of quiet that comes over the body. Take that space with you here. Imagine all the work that you just did is now your time to just ease into the fruits of that labor. And before we reawaken our body, let's start to take a few deep breaths in. And start to invite some movement into the body, into the fingers, the toes. And then maybe you stay where you are, or if you'd like to, you're absolutely welcome to roll onto your favorite side. I love to do that because it takes us from where we were to kind of moving to where we're going. So it's just a great opportunity to just connect into that beautiful transitional space. And whenever you're ready, we'll make our way up and we'll take that top arm and really use the arm to press yourself up. Making our way into our Sukhasana, to our seated position. Meeting in Anjali Mudra with the hands connected at the heart space. A gentle bow of our head towards our hands as a symbol of recognizing the light that shines within us all. May your heart always stay warm. May your smile always stay broad. And may the light that shines in me honor and see the light that shines in you. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful for you joining me today. Thank you for the heart, Susan. It always gives me so much joy. It's so funny. I love it. I hope that you enjoy your Thanksgiving. And as always, I'm so grateful to you all for joining me today. So thank you. Namaste, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye bye.